Okay, so we have seen in this way we can define the dictionary as well as we can write its elements. So elements will have two items, key and its value. Okay. Next, we have also seen that to insert any element in the dictionary, we can insert with the help of key. Suppose here there are two elements, say bug is the key, function is the key. Now if you want to add another element that is known as loop, okay, so loop is a key and its definition is its value. So programming dictionary is the variable name or the name of the dictionary, we can say, into square bracket loop is equal to its value. So this element loop and its value will be added in the list, added in the dictionary. OK, we have also seen that to create the empty dictionary, we just write nothing in the curly bracket. In this way, empty dictionary can be defined. This will be required many of times. OK, so empty dictionary is equal to this. Suppose we want to make the existing dictionary empty, or we can say wipe an existing dictionary. We can say programming directory is equal to null directory. So by assigning null directory to the variable, we can wipe out the all elements of the existing dictionary. OK. Now suppose if we add element in a way, see, as we have added this, the same way if we write, and if the key is already exist, then the key value will be changed. So we can change the key value same as we are adding the element. But the difference is here the key must be exist, whereas in case of insertion, the key will be new one. OK, so I think up to this step we have already discussed. OK, one more thing we had discussed is if we go through the loop for the dictionary, then its key value will be displayed. For example, if we write in this way, say for key in programming dictionary, so print key, that means it will display only this bug, function and loop. Only keys will be displayed, and with the help of key we can print its values. OK, for example, print programming dictionary key. OK, in this way we can print its key as well as its value. OK, so up to now we have discussed in the last lecture, so I have repeated the things just to refresh it. Now I want to show you that how we can use the dictionary. In the dictionary, that is called nesting, we can use list, nesting of list in the dictionary. We can also use nesting of dictionary in the dictionary, and we can also use nesting of dictionary in the list. We will see all the things. OK, let us see first of all a small presentation on that. Nesting means we can say once we put a folder in a folder, then we call it nesting. OK. Next, for example, we have key is equal to value. OK, this is the form of the dictionary. We can have even more than one value like this. OK, so we can have more than one value in the dictionary. OK, now this value can be list or dictionary. For example, this value can be list also. This we will see with example also. OK, so first of all, let us understand even this value can be dictionary also. OK, and whole this dictionary can be a part of another dictionary. OK, or it can be part of list also. For example, we have two dictionaries, both are part of a list also. OK, so no doubt this looks very complex, but at the same time we have lots of flexibilities. OK, all these things let us see in the example. For example, suppose I have one dictionary called capitals. Say India has capital Delhi, France, Paris, and Germany, Berlin. Okay, this is the dictionary which I have defined. Now suppose instead of writing the capital, suppose I want to know cities visited in India or cities visited in a particular country. So for example, say it is Delhi, say Mumbai, and say Ahmedabad. Okay, so I cannot assign three values to any key. So if I want to write this, I cannot write in this way. Okay, so I have to write in the form of list. So this is valid. Okay, not necessary that if India has the value dictionary, list, and France has only Paris, this will do. Okay, now suppose we want to do this, we can write in this way also. Let us create another variable called travel log instead of capitals. Now we have visited India with these many cities. Okay, so here list is the value part. So instead of single value, we can have list as a value. Okay, so this travel log has India, France, and Germany. These three keys are there, which is known as countries here. And we have visited the cities in a particular country that I have here listed with the list. Okay, that I have given as an element of the list. Okay. For example, nesting of the list. We can put a list in a list. For example, if we want nesting of list, then I can write in this way also. Say A, B, C and D are another element, which is a list and another. But in the same way, we cannot nesting or we cannot nested a directory in this way. Okay, how? Let us see. Suppose I want to correct my travel log. Say instead of India, suppose I want to take dictionary as a value. Okay, in this example, we have taken list as a value. Now we are going to take list instead of list. We want to take now dictionary as a value. Okay, so that also we can take. For example, I have two elements in India in a particular country. For example, say city visited is equal to this Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and total number of visits is 8. So here you can see that up to now we have seen string as a value. Then we have seen list as a value. Okay, so it is not necessary that the value must be string only. It can be of any data type. Here I have used integer as a data type. It can be even float, it can be even boolean, or it can be string. So here I have two elements in the dictionary. One key is cities visited and its value is list. Other key is total visits and its value is 8. Similarly, I have taken three keys in the travel log. Now again, if I want to improve this and I want to represent this, see here I have taken this dictionary as an element, as a value of the key India. Now suppose I want to take the whole dictionary as a part of list. So here we have seen list is a part of dictionary. Similarly, we can have dictionary also as a part of list. For example, suppose these three elements are there. I will take three dictionaries. Say country is equal to India. So country is a key. Its value is India. Cities visited is Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, and total visits is equal to 8. So I have written these three elements separately so that it can easily be readable. So here dictionary, one dictionary, two dictionaries, and three dictionaries. All these three dictionaries I have put in a list. Okay, so dictionary can be in the list can be in the dictionary, and any combination you can take. Okay, right? So we will see its access one by one. For example, if I print here, say print travel 0. So this is my list. Travel log is now list. Okay. If I print travel 0 means this dictionary will be printed. Country India, cities visited, and total visits is equal to 8. But suppose I have this, say list normal variable in a dictionary, and this dictionary is a value of a particular key, and all these put or all these are part of the dictionary. Then let us see how to access the element. This is very important. Otherwise, if you are not able to access the element, it is of no use. Okay. So first of all, suppose I want to print only value of India. Okay. So that is very simple. We know that travel log into bracket, square bracket, India. Okay. For example, if we print into bracket travel log into bracket India. Okay, what will be printed? The value of India, which is a dictionary. Okay, so this whole dictionary will be printed if you print travel log India. Okay, let us print this and let me make this as comment so that it should not confuse. Where I got error. In line number 35. Line number 35. Okay. So let me make this as comment right now. Okay. See, cities visited and total visits is equal to 8. So here to print the value of India, which is a dictionary, just by taking key as a subscript, we can print it. But suppose if we want only cities visited of India, okay, so we can print in this way. Print travel log India, and also cities visited is a key. So we write cities visited. Okay. So what it should print? Only the cities visited, okay, of India, right? Print. So Delhi, Mumbai and Ahmedabad. We also want suppose to see only the element Mumbai. So it is as subscript 1. Okay, so we can further extend this and we can write say sorry 1 here to print Mumbai. Okay. So Mumbai will be printed. Okay, so in this way we can access elements of list in a dictionary and dictionary in a list. So whatever the combination is there, we can access all the elements in this way in a sequence. Okay, it will be printed in hierarchy. Okay, I think this will be clear when we see some projects. Okay, we will use these in projects, but at this stage we can remember only one thing, that list can be used as a part of dictionary. A dictionary can be used as a part of dictionary. A dictionary can be used as a part of list, and even a list can be used as a part of list. Okay, so list and dictionary can be part of any one of them or any one of others, or it can be in any number. Okay, for example, here list is in dictionary and the same dictionary is again in list. Okay, here we have seen this. So this list is in dictionary, this dictionary. Okay, and this dictionary is in a list travel log. Okay, so in any combination we can do this. So first of all, we write a small program using this dictionary. Okay, for example, we have given a dictionary called student scores is equal to say name and the score he has obtained. Okay, so Harry, Ron, and I have 5 keys and 5 values. Okay, so I want to change this dictionary by creating a new dictionary with the grade instead of marks. Okay, so according to the definition, I will show you that what is the definition or what is the rules for assigning the grades. Okay, so first of all, here I have taken as comment that create an empty dictionary called student grades. So we want to create a new dictionary which contains grades instead of scores. Okay, so student grades is equal to empty dictionary, right? Now we will go through the dictionary called student scores. So for key in student scores, we can say score is equal to student scores key. So its value will be assigned to the variable score. Okay. Now if this score is greater than 90, we say its grade is outstanding. If the score is between 80 and 90, okay, 90 included, 80 not included, then we can say exceeds, exceptions. If it is between 70 and 80, we say it is acceptable. And if it is less than 70, we say it fails. Okay. So here we simply use if and elif. If score is greater than 90, we assign outstanding. Elif means it will go to elif only if it is not greater than 90, means it is less than or equal to 90. Elif score is greater than 80, means it is greater than 80 and less than or equal to 90, then we will assign this value, and so on. Okay. So if you now print the student grades, that is the dictionary, we will see the result. Okay. So Harry is exceeds exceptions, Ron is acceptable, Harrymon is outstanding, and so on. Okay. So in this way, we can change the scores into grades by creating new dictionary. Okay, now let us see the nesting exercise. Okay, one by one. I have the travel log with the country, number of visits, and cities. Okay. Your attention is required. See, I have a travel log is a list which contains 2 dictionaries. One dictionary, country, visits, and cities. This dictionary has these 3 keys and its values. Similarly, this dictionary again has 3 keys and its values. Now our aim is to write a function to add one element, which is a dictionary as a part of this list. Okay. Now next is write the function that will allow new countries to be added to the travel log. Okay. The name of the function is given add new country. So here function is called add new country with the values Russia. Number of visits is equal to 2 and the cities visited is a list. Okay. Now let us see how to create a function. So we will define the function with the name add new country. Control C. And there will be 3 parameters. One is Russia, we can say city country. Visited. Second parameter is number of visits, okay, which is 2 I am supplying. So here we can say visits. Number of visits. And And the third parameter is cities visited. These three are the parameters. Now remember, what should be added? Its element is a list, finally dictionary in a list. Okay, so we have to take one empty dictionary. We call it as say new city, or we can say new country equal to empty dictionary. Okay. Now we have to add all the three elements in the new country. Okay, then it is to be appended to the list. Okay, so we can say new country into bracket first value, that is country, first key, that is country, is equal to first value. Value is what? Country visited. Next. Next key is what? Visits. And next variable is number of visits. The third one is instead of visits, it is cities is equal to cities visited. So using these three statements, I have created one list, one dictionary. Okay, with the three values. Now we have to append this in the list. Name of the list is travel log. Okay, so Control C. Travel log dot append into bracket. What we are going to append? New country. Okay. So this is the function which will add one element in the given list. This element is nothing but a dictionary which contains three keys: country, visits, and cities. Okay, now let us do it. Okay, so here we can see this is the first element in the list. Okay, this one. This is the second element in the list, and the third, which we have added, which is the third element in the list. Okay, so in this way, we can create or we can define a function called add new country. Using this, we can add this. Okay, so here we supply three values. Now instead of this, we can get these values from the keyboard and we can continue giving the values and we can create more and more elements in the list. Okay, now next example that we are going to discuss is the secret auction. Okay, so that is the part of project I am explaining and you will write this. Okay, you will write code for this. So first of all, let me explain what is that. So suppose I go here. Okay, first of all, let us understand what is the program. We want to ask the user or we want to find out who is the bidder with the highest bidding value. Okay, so we'll accept two things from the keyboard: name of the bidder and the value, or we can say bidding amount for a particular auction. Okay, so two variables, we can say two items in the dictionary. We call it as a name and its value is nothing but the bidding amount. So we go on accepting the name and the bidding amount, and as and when users say no, then it should print the highest bidder. For example, if I run this program, it should ask, what is your name? We can say any name. It should, for example, say bidding amount is say 566. You want to continue, say yes. Okay. So what is your name? For example, say Ajay. Bidding amount is say 266. As and when if we say no, it should print the winner is Sanjay with a bid of $this. Okay. So can you write this? Okay, all of you try to write these things. Okay, you have to accept name and the bidding amount from the keyboard. You should continue till the user say no. As and when user type no, you should print the highest bidder. Okay, if you want to have some hints, so we will first of all say accept this name and price from the keyboard. Okay, we put it in a dictionary, right? Dictionary will have only one this statement. Suppose beads is the empty dictionary. We can say name is a key and price is a value. Okay. We'll ask the user whether he wants to continue. If he wants to continue, then I have just right now I have printed it. Okay. But if he don't want to continue, we have to make some flag true. Okay. So that it stops the process for accepting the next input. And find highest bidder, we write the function here. Okay, we call the function. This function will find the maximum bidding value and that will be printed. That the winner is whatever the message we want, we can print it. And when the cursor returns, it should stop. Okay, so write the program for this. Okay, so let me stop this here. You write and just put your code when you get success in the chat box. If you have any problem, you can write in the chat box. Okay.
हेलो हेलो SM सर, हेलो SM सर, हेलो सर, you are mute sir.
Oh, you should told me.
Sir, I am on the way to home, so that is
Oh, okay, okay. So let me explain it again. I think you will be able to do. If you have any difficulty, you can ask me. Okay. Right. Could you see the program? તમને પ્રોગ્રામ જોવા મળ્યો તો? You can write in the chat box. Could you see the program? Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, let me go to there. Okay, so still if you have any difficulty, you can contact me, or in the next session you can ask me. Now next I want to show you is the online debugging of the program. Okay, for example, suppose I want to take this function. I want to copy it, particular say new file. Okay, this, and I will call the function. I will define one dictionary. Say temp is equal to say I will call find highest leader into bracket temp. Right now, suppose I want to debug this online. Okay, so you can go to website called Python Tutor. Let me copy this. Let me go to Python Tutor. Oh, sorry. Okay, so if you go to Python Tutor, okay, you can visualize the execution. Let me copy here our function. Okay, now if we try to run this, we will see each step. We'll be able to see, say next. See, our first statement, that temp, this will be executed. This is a function, right? So temp is equal to this. So I have got two values and the calling function, that is find highest bidder temp. Okay, so next. Okay, so temp has the two values, Sanjay with value 266, Ajay with value 566. Okay, it will be called, and the corresponding value will be of bidding record. Okay, you can see the next. So the function called bidding record, variable is bidding record. Now bidding record is also pointing to this. That means Sanjay is equal to 266 and Ajay is equal to 566. These values will be of bidding record. Okay, so each and every step you will be able to visualize. Next, we can see here the highest bid is equal to 0. Okay. Next, winner is equal to empty string. Okay. Next. Okay. So here you can see bid amount is equal to bidding record into bracket bidder. So this bidder is now Sanjay. Okay. Next, its bidding amount is 266. Next. Now you can see here, if it will check that whether it is greater than the highest bid or not. Now it has gone in the loop. That means the bid amount is greater than highest bid. Okay. Next, you can see the highest bid is now 266 and the winner is equal to bidder, that is Sanjay. Okay. Next value is Ajay. Again, it is higher. So it will go into the if loop. Sorry, if statement. The value of highest bid is now changed to 566. So winner is also changed by Ajay. So there is end, so it will come on the print statement. So it has come out from this for loop. Okay. If you see, when this statement will be executed, the message will be printed over here in this box. Next, the message is printed. The winner is Ajay with a bid of $566. Okay. Now return value is none. So this function will be end. That's it. Okay. So this is end of the execution. So in this way, for any program, for any code, if you want to know step-by-step values of each and every variable, you can go to the pythontutor.com. You can copy your code into the window and you just go on, execute the program, and each and every values can be obtained by pressing the next step. Okay. So this is all about today. I wanted to tell you this only. Now, for the next lecture, I can say, sorry, in the next lecture, we will write a code for coffee machine, which use list and dictionary with nesting of both of them. So I think this is one of the best project of this course. Okay. So I request all of you to join on time in the next session. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.